Yes, we're jumping back into this because Beach Friends has actually asked me to cover the DLC. And y'all know that I love the living hell out of the main game immensely. And on top of that, it is still an indie game. So I'm not stepping out of my change up of my content. So don't start on that. And on top of that, there were parts in this story, the main story at least, that things got dark. So theoretically, I'm not straying from the path that I made for myself. So thank you for future friends for asking me to cover the DLC. And I'm pretty damn sure I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. So if you would like to get the DLC, by the time this video is posted, it will probably be out because it drops tomorrow, aka the 12th. You get the concept. So, check the link down in the description to add it to your wish list or buy it outright. You will need the base game, obviously, to get the DLC. So, let's jump in. I have no idea. See him? What this one is called. This DLC contains spoilers for... Okay, it's warning us for the main game. Okay. Oh yeah, the DLC is called The Tempest. Act 1. A Case of Curiosity. Now, I have no idea what the story is about. I have not spoiled anything for myself. It looks like it's holidays and Halloween time. Okay. Innkeeper, a drink, quickly. Good to see you too. If you don't get me a strong drink immediately, I'll burn this whole tavern to the ground. That is, if you still remember how to make one with your fancy infusions and all that magic mambo jumbo. I wouldn't mind watching you try to explain it. I can handle this on my own, thank you. I wouldn't. Oh wait, no, this is a reminder for a tutorial. No, we don't need a tutorial. Suit yourself. She didn't even give us... Okay, strength. Is there any... No. I was seeing if there was any more drinks. Apparently not, which is weird, but alright. Strength-based sailor's courage. Grab a ton of strength. I honestly didn't think I was going to re-pick up this game for content, to be honest. Because I had full intentions on just chilling out and possibly playing another playthrough for myself later down the road. But yeah, I was not expecting DLC to pop out of this one. Now let's get rid of that. Give it a little bit of this. And a little bit of charisma. And dexterity. There we go. Now we have a sailor's courage. But I heard that the DLC was coming, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and there's like, oh crap, they're making DLC? Definitely gotta pick that up. A strange drink for our strong friendship. A strong drink for our friendship. Ha! Love it. Don't tell anyone I said that. They wouldn't believe me anyway. So, you haven't shown your face around here in over a year. What's the occasion? Would you believe me if I said I missed you? I would. Good, because I do. I also need a break from fixing some local roofs. Been at it since ever consider putting up a clock instead of a dagger? A dagger was Nellie's first gift to me. Lady Evelyn traded me the dagger for my clock. Let's go with the top one. So I deeply appreciate it. How sweetly is sentimental. My compass broke on the way here, you know, and a bad omen if you ask me. almost wandered in the wrong direction. It must be difficult to navigate without stars. Did you fall back on good old star navigating? Let's go with this one, considering the stars are missing. Yeah, it turns out I missed them after all. I think you'd have a shot convincing Leviathan to send some primordial stars up to the astral sea. Not a chance, sorry. How's things been for you? Great, been handling out a lot of fun quests. A bit boring, to be honest. Let's go with the first one, I guess. Would you like one too? I think I'll pass for now. How about you? Still working with the Arch on a biological sequel. Squeal? Yeah, sequel. Theo told me you're teaching him hieroglyphic, right? Big words. Let's go with Archie. Whatever that is. We're still figuring that out, but I'm having fun. Happy to hear it. I'm currently trying to talk Archibald out of writing the Quiver themed romance novel Kyle is trying to talk him into. Guess the last encounter didn't scare him enough. Let me guess. Kyle's been talking to the Quiver. Yeah, let's go with that one. Nothing can scare that vampire as much as bad fusion choices can. Still, Archie should really stop talking his literary advice. Maybe he should write something inspired by Banshee and Megan love story instead. Banshee and Mora's 50th breakup instead. The love story. I'll pass your idea along. Relationships can be tough, huh? They can be, but they can also be very rewarding. Like for Nelly and his parents. Unlike O'Neill. Why am I calling him Nelly? Unlike for Nelly and his parents. No, I mean, they came back technically, so let's go there. They worked hard to repair their relationship. It made them better people. Yeah, I'm happy for the kid. That being said, if they ever make him sad again, I'm throwing hands. You and me both. Speaking of that sneaky guy, do you know if the Zephyr familiar got back to them about Melly's tea party yet? They're already planning what cake to bake. No, but they did kill their wizard, so let's go with the first one. I don't want to go dark. Can't wait to try them. But before I forget, I've got something for you. Also, on top of that, I utterly love the game, and I love the hell out of D&D. As you can see, you've seen my collection in past videos, right? And when I actually have a full caption of my camera, I've got a crap ton of D&D books behind me. For me, here you go. Ocean Fizz. Okay, a recipe? I want it in a card game. It sounded delicious. And you wanted someone to make it for you. Exactly. What are you waiting for? On it, boss. Hold up. Did you already drink your drink and then just vanished? I didn't even realize that. Okay, let's try this new recipe, shall we? Okay, so it's a lot of dex, some decent strength, and some defense. all the... No. Yeah, that's Dex. I was about to say intelligent for some weird reason. What was it? The peppers? Yeah, the peppers. A little bit more strength. There we go. We're up. Ocean Fizz. Interesting name. Looks divine, though. Imagine I'm presenting this to you while making fizzy sounds. I'd rather not. But it's just as delicious as I thought it'd be. Anyway, gotta go. I wanted to check up on Lynn. She should be training with the Chimera right now. She's visiting her cousin in Elverin, I think. Knowing her, she would be training with the Chimera. That's teaching her how to decode riddles. Can't wait to test her progress. See you later. So I'm assuming this is setting up more of other choices of what they've been up to. So leaving it up to the player on what they actually have been doing since the first the main campaign. See you later, Un. By the way, I do plan on actually doing the whole DLC in one video. Well, obviously, you're here. What? Is that a little dragon? Huh, okay. Greetings, brave Edvit. Hi, hello. Hello, innkeeper. It's been a while. My dude, you got a dragon on your shoulder? Welcome back to my tavern, Milia Clay. What can I do for my dear friend today? Did you miss me, innkeeper? Of course, Zenith just isn't the same without its renowned detective. Your tavern looks exactly the way I remembered it. Oh, you know, it doesn't do well with change. I can't fix anything without him sulking for a few days. Not even those scratch marks on the counter. Those have sentimental value. Ah. But what brings you to my tavern? I'm just passing through. Are you not gonna explain the dragon that's on your shoulder, dude? I'm on my way to visit Lavelina and a little Prim. You know Tessa's sister and niece. I remember them. They check in on the tavern every once in a while. Prim always leaves a bracelet or necklace made of fresh flowers with Tia's statue. It's been a while since I last saw them. So I'm visiting in between and taking care of little Miss Melly over here. Clay is looking after me so I don't get myself into any trouble. At least that's how Neil phrased it. And of course Fable agreed. It's been 8 years since I last had parents, you know. And now I realize just how much I missed it. But a detective simply can't do her job while under so much surveillance. I'm always 12. I'm almost 12 years old. And I've already solved a bunch of cases in those almost 12 years. I'm pretty sure I've learned how to take care of myself by now. But I do have to admit, it's nice to not be as alone anymore. And spending time with Clay in the sleeping forest while Neil and Fable are on vacation is a nice change of scenery. Kind of like a vacation for me too. The sleeping forest isn't so sleepy after all, with Clay and all of his animals around. Did you finally open up that shelter for abandoned, hurt, and lonely animals, Clay? I did. Are we gonna ask about the dragon? It's a home for all lost souls, as well as those who need some time and help to get back on their feet or rings. They're a lovely bunch. If they're half as lovely as you, they must be wonderful. Just like that wonderful, adorable companion on your shoulder. Now we mention it. What was her name again? Oh, so apparently us, the innkeeper, has already met this one? Okay. As Dindy, my familiar friend. Cassiopeia sent her to thank me for caring for Tia so much. One day she just appeared on my doorstep, and ever since she can't seem to get enough of my personal space. She's so cute. Even if she's always bossing the other animals around. She helps a lot with taking care of everyone at the shelter. It can be hard work making sure everyone else is okay without losing sight of your own well-being. But I make sure to get enough breaks in so I can care for all of us with a well-rested heart. Speaking of care, would you mind keeping an eye on Miss Melly for a while, innkeeper? I promised to your sister that I'd be there at noon. Of course. But how about a drink before you go? Now that you mention it, I can't leave without one of those. How about something that'll steal me for the week ahead? Oh, I have just the drink for you. Alrighty. Here's the effects. How about a steel tonic? One of your favorites? Or Tia's, at least. Oh, the defense! AK Constitution. Decent amount of charisma. No, that's the wrong one. Here you go, I do. Strength, that's what I'm looking for. I messed it up. Crap. What's the infusion that I need again? How do I... Okay. We're just gonna dump out a little bit. There we go. That should do it, right? Better do. That is the right one, right? Yeah, that should be it. Hold her up. You just didn't hold up the sign. A drink for extra tough travels. Here you go. Thank you so much. Oh, this is exactly what I needed. Okay. So if we hit a do, or dump out the stuff, and then we actually make it, or automatically make it, it doesn't, a do doesn't show up the sign, I guess. Okay. I already feel prepared for the week back. Give Adu a treat for me, will you? Will do. So, how is it surrounded by animals and wilderness? No big city in sight. It's super exciting. I've never been so far up north before, so I just had to explore the area around the shelter. Did you find anything of interest? Well, first I ventured forth to find out if differently shaped snowflakes also taste different. Of course, Melly. Who knows how much a scientific breakthrough. Yeah, breakthrough. Dyslexia. Like that could shape future investigations, right? Absolutely. What conclusion did you come to? Well, none. Yet. The snowflakes were too small and melted away too quickly. But I will continue my investigation soon. First, I have to figure out what kind of mechanism I managed to get my hands on, though. Mechanism? Yes, I found something while wandering through the sleeping forest. I think it might be a piece of bigger puzzle. A bigger puzzle. I'll tell you more about it in exchange for a drink. I see you haven't forgotten any of our favorites. Favorite ragu? Fight you? Ruses? I'm just gonna continue, just like this. What kind of drink would you like today? How about something that will make me even smarter so I can figure out what the mysterious mechanism does before anyone else? Sounds like you've got a plan. A smart drink coming right up. Nobel? No, we don't have access to that one. And challenge. Owl. We have Big Sunrise. I guess let's go with Peak Sunrise. So is the DLC making us use infusions? It seems like it is. Let's go with this one. And intelligence. And no, that's not intelligence. That's dexterity. Why am I messing this up? And all the intelligence. With a little bit more dexterity. Big Sunrise. Order up. This should fire you up. This should fire up your brain in no time. Thank you. Oh, I can already feel my neurons forming new connections. So that mechanism. Alright, where do I start? I found it while exploring the wilderness of the sleeping forest. It was completely covered with giant roots. Must have somehow caught the spare sunlight shining through the forest because I saw it sparkling in a thicket. And of course I just had to dig it up. It had jagged edges and looked incomplete, like it broke off from something. But there weren't any other pieces under the roots. They barely wanted to give this one up. It looked really out of place between the trees because it's mainly made of metal, but hold on tight. I'm holding on tight. Very good, because the metal seems ancient and magical. I could feel some weird tingling energy flowing through me when I picked it up. You know, metal usually has a certain smell to it, right? It didn't have that at all. No one I've asked can identify what it's made of either. And I can't scratch it with my nails even though it looks so cold. But that's not all. It's not just made of weird metal. There are also super sparkly gears growing right out of it somehow. That seems to be made of pure citrine. I couldn't dent the citron either, like it was magically fortified. That's certainly interesting, right? It made me part of the bigger mechanism with all the gears and the uneven edges, you know? There must be a second half to it somewhere. And hold your horses. It turns out the piece that I found is some sort of lock or or a tiny teaser chest, or maybe a prism. So it opened up. It was a little tricky at first. You have to turn all the gears just the right way, and even then I need to use a lockpick. Inko got me. But eventually I went to my will. And was there anything inside? Well, no, nothing really. I mean, except a fire spirit, a really angry fire spirit that I might have freed accidentally. I see. But I swear I didn't do anything to make it angry. I just let it out. Maybe it was upset because it was trapped for so long. It was burning so hot it even singed one of my whiskers. And when it took off into the woods, it managed to start a forest fire even with all the snow. Clay and his animals helped me put the fire out quickly, but we couldn't find the spirit anywhere. Did I do something bad? No, you couldn't have known about the spirit. Well, you could have been more careful. You couldn't have known about the spirit. You were just curious. Understandable. You're a detective after all. I must be pretty lousy one since I didn't realize the disaster I would unleash. You can't expect yourself to be familiar with all the strange ancient mechanisms in this world. You live and you learn. Speaking of sad, mysterious ancient mechanisms and its fire spirit, I might have an idea about their origins. The spirit is clearly elemental, and I could be wrong, but that sounds like a creature from Leviathan's domain. Your boss? I wouldn't say boss, but yes, my patron. He and his plane are the origin of the four elements, and that includes fire. Powerful burning spirits are part of his daily route. Birds. Oh, so if the metal is ancient, could it be that I found a long-lost relic of the Leviathans? That'd be so cool. Except for the part where I broke it. I'm not sure it's his divine metal, strange mechanisms, and especially magical gemstones. That's more the domain of the Elder Dragon. Sure. Wait, don't they have a rivalry with Leviathan? It depends on who you ask. Some say they're enemies, others say they were best friends before went to sleep. Either way, if they both had their claws in this, I think you've got your hands on a mischievous treasure. Yeah, words. Magnificent treasure. I knew it. Now I just have to figure out what this all means. Like, what's the purpose of this thing, and where did the spirit go? Do you have any more ideas, perchance? Pre-chance? Not yet, but I think I keep my eyes and ears wide open. That's what my trusty quest board is for. Did I hear Rusty? I don't know, did you? Because my dyslexia is utterly terrible tonight. Can I interest you in a trip to my spa? The mud is very good for old and rusty bones. Thank you, but I'm not that old yet, and I sadly can't run the tavern alone. Oh. Poor Baya. But I was going to give you a coupon. I brought a bunch. Oh, coupons? I'll take them. I can hand them out in the city while doing my research. That sounds lovely. Thank you so much. Of course. Gotta go now. These puzzles won't solve themselves. I would advise you to start your investigation with Un. If someone knows something, it's her. Oh, Un is also in town. Yippee! Yeah, she said she wanted to visit Carolyn. Maybe you'll find Un over at her house. Thanks for your help, innkeepers. See you later. Good luck with your investigation, Melly. She seems really excited. Did she encounter an anteater? Anteater? No, she found a puzzle piece. Sort of. Oh, I love puzzles. What kind of pattern? Dancing skeleton, bog spirit, puppies? No pattern, I'm afraid. It's more of an incomplete mechanism she'd like to put back together. Seems very ancient, maybe even made by and Leviathan themselves. All I can offer you in terms of patterns are an unidentifiable metal gear made of citron and a somewhat agitated fire spirit. Fun. Citron gears, that reminds me of something. What would that be? No, I'm not sure. The thought is trapped on the tip of my tongue. Voy says you have a drink that always helps with him with his words. Please free my tongue, please. Already on it, Baya. So charismatic? Called it. Alright, let's go with Sunny Breeze. If I remember correctly, I don't have to. No, it looks like I'm going to need an infusion. Yeah, let's go with this one. And get some intelligence going. And then... No, we already got dexterity. We need all the charisma now. All the way to the brim. Order up. An emergency rescue for my tongue coming right up at your tongue. Oh ho! I'm free! Thank you! This makes me feel as comfortable and safe as my friend do. Oh. Yes, my friend. I have found the thought and ate it. Myra. Myra Morgan? Yes. In her postcard, she talked about this decorative mechanism covered in orange gears like citron. And she was mesmerized. Where's no worky link in description for merch? Mesmerized. Yeah, you know the word, buy it. Did she spot it in a postcard shop? No, silly, in a library. They're on vacation in underwater for their anniversary and they visited the local Orlifin library. Mara wrote to me about her favorite things from the tour. Underwater? I heard rumors that the city survived the paramortal flood despite still being completely submerged while underwater. Something about a good flooded defense system and nature's sense of irony. Yes, it's a great place to go on vacation if you don't mind all the seawater everywhere. but I haven't figured out how to send a postcard there yet. The plants don't talk to me much when they're so salty. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Maybe ask Hex for help. I'll think about it. And this is the new character. Oleander. I can't pronounce it. Good evening, Okay, we know this cat? Oleander. Good evening, innkeeper. Good evening, Baya. Good evening. You look like you could use a drink. Yeah. Had another group of adventurers who thought it was a good idea to try and pet the gooseberry boars. So a drink sounds great. Have you got one of those, what was it? Coffees? A cursed coffee? Minus the curse, please. I'll see what I can do. I can definitely give you some coffee. For those that are new to the channel, I am a coffee fanatic. A little bit of intelligence. Let's see. Infusions. What do we need? Yeah, this one. That'll cover the dex. Now, all the strength. All the way to the very top. Order up. First coffee. So who is this guy? A cursed coffee free of any curses that but full of energy. Perfectly accurate. Thank you. Adequate. Wow, a compliment from Ollivander Verifin. Today is my lucky day. Don't push it. He sounds like he's a creator. I don't know. If y'all know, please let me know in the comments. So, having some trouble with adventurers again? When isn't it trouble with them? If they want a guide through the Ashen Grove, I can provide that. But you'd expect them to have at least an ounce of common sense. Instead, I have to herd them like toddlers. At least the boars have a sense of survival instinct. Let me guess, you're not getting paid enough for this. I don't get paid. That makes two of us. That means we're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts, right? It's my duty as a ranger to guide them. Hold on, so... is this Fable's brother? Cousin? Family member in general? No idea. Can't let them get lost and disturb the local ecosystem or hunt innocent bystanders in the process. They might bring a bit of chaos, but they usually save people in the process too. That special blend in what heroism is all about. Yeah, sure. Speaking of heroism, how's Fable? Aren't they supposed to tell you all about what about that when they get back? I'm missing them, and I'm very curious. Fine, I'll humor you. According to the last postcard, Neil presents Neil's parents are taking them to all the tourist spots in the Primeval Sea. Like volcanoes, wave pools, tornado farms. Seems a bit dangerous to me. Sounds fun to me. I mean, we can always have a good thrill, right? Sounds fun to me. You're a wonderful influence, thank you. So, I'm assuming it's the older brother. You're welcome. Honestly, I'm just glad they changed their mind about going to underwater. When they heard the town was still around, they immediately wanted to plunge down there and help people. Plus, they're a big heart. I don't even want to imagine the trouble that would have landed them in. But I heard it's beautiful down there. The Banshee and the Mira Morgan are visiting. I'm sure they'll catch Fable up on it then. Lyra has been writing me postcards too. It's so nice. That's sweet. Any places you want to travel? And any underwater themed questions on your mind? Any place you want to travel? Home in a bit. To your bed, catch some sleep. It's far too early for sleep. Suit yourself. Anyhow, bye. Anything else the Myra Morgan wrote you about? You know, as a bedtime story for our workaholic over here. Okay, no. Now that we know some information on this cat, I need to know. Olinder Verifin is an experienced ranger and Fable's older brother. I called it! Okay. If they said that in the main game, sorry, my memory's shite. The library. It's haunted. Haunted? Yes, by evil books. Let me guess, a wizard? No, maybe. Myra didn't say. The tour guide gave a warning not to touch any of the books because people say that they've been biting off visitors' fingers. That's not good. But Myra didn't get to see a single evil tome. Nah, disappointing. That's a new flavor of evil scripture. What do you think it's all about? The locals say someone cursed the library. But I think maybe the books are just exploring their new environment. It must be so interesting to be a book underwater. Or maybe some hungry creature found shelter in those books and no one is feeding them. That'll be sad. Not our problem to worry about. It could be. I'm sure someone will take care of it. Someone always does. Anyway, I've got to get back to check that everything is still in place after the boar debate. And then get to Boren's dinner party. Your sister finally learned how to cook? No, but she's trying. Oh, can I walk you home? I haven't seen Boren in ages. Sure, I bet she'd appreciate more guests. And you don't mind potentially poisoning pie, right? Poisonous pie, right? Okay. That sounds delicious. I'll bring you a slice too, innkeeper. Later. I wonder how Adu feels about poisonous pie. I don't think it's a good thing, to be honest. Alright, so right off the bat, we get to set up a quest. Okay. Melee's Mysteries puzzle piece seems to have something to do with the dragons themselves, as does an angry fire spirit. She feeds. Nope. Boogies. Myra Morgan spotted another part of the mechanism in the library underwater. It's unfortunate the city is entirely submerged. Molly found one half of a mysterious ancient mechanism in a sleeping forest, but where is the other half? Really? That didn't go together? Okay. The books in the column of the library seem to have developed a taste for fingers. It's a curse. Okay. Another part of the mechanism. With the dragon themselves. How is that not? How is that? Okay. Really? Okay, so book of library seems to have developed Mars Porgan library underwater. Okay. That's weird. I thought that would have been there. Not at the library. Deep in the sleeping forest, the young Velkian detective Melina Brumham found a ancient mechanism. Its origins are unknown, but when she tried to open it, she unleashed a fire spirit onto the world, determined to make things right. She needs a group of ambitious adventurers to help her find the missing piece in the underwater library in underwater. But beware, the books may bite. I wonder how many quests they put into this. With that, we do clean up the tavern and blow out the candles. But I will be continuing, obviously. So what? 2 parts? Chapter 2, Honeyed Hopes. Interesting. Before we do that, I'm gonna get some gamer subs. I believe it's like maybe the last part or last bit of the copium. This bad boy. Really enjoying it. I've got the other one, the black tea with the passion fruits. The black tea and passion fruit flavor. But after that, I'm definitely gonna have to order some more. Hello. Hey, hello. Innkeeper, it's so good to see you. You too, Archie. Are you doing well? Very well, in fact. I was just enjoying an extensive lecture on the moon, swamps, native flora. I even asked the catalyst some questions for me. Cactus. They think we look delicious too. Did you know that? That's not concerning at all. Were you doing research for your next book? No, just catching up with friends, which reminds me of an important question. How are you, friend? Fantastic, thank you. I'm a bit tired. Fantastic. The mood always improves. My mood always improves when you come around. Well, I'm more than happy to hear that. Though I was hoping for a signed copy of the casebook of Melly Burham. Consider it done. I'll deliver it post haste. Speaking of the devil. Speaking of the detective. Not exactly the same thing that I said, but it counts. Good day. I shall be taking this quest, Innkeeper. Put it out just for you, Melly. Excellent. A quest? What quest are you taking? The puzzle one? Precisely. There's a puzzle to solve? Yes, sort of. I'm currently following the case of the mysterious, ancient, magical, and fantastical mechanism. So far, I've only found a piece of it, but it might lead us to another. which I should really find because I might have released some sort of angry fire spirit from the first piece. And it burned down some parts of the sleeping forest, which is not ideal. Yeah. I want to get it back inside the mechanism so it doesn't burn anything else down. But first I need to understand how the fluff thing works. I wasn't expecting Melly to cuss, but okay. Also, isn't there supposed to be like a thunder sound that happens when people cuss in this game? It's like a puzzle. I see. If I figure out the puzzle of the mechanism I broke, then I can fix this. That sounds responsible. You didn't break anything, Melly. You didn't break anything. You investigated some ancient mechanism that was already broken. Those kinds of items tend to release strange things no matter who finds them. But I found it, and I let it out, so I'll be the one to solve it. A detective never runs from responsibility. A detective also shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. That's what I'm here for. Were you going to look for this puzzle piece? Are you going back to the islands? No, the quest says the bio's friend saw a piece not unlike my mechanism in underwater. Is that true, Bio? It is, Mara. Sorry, I blinked there. Mara said she saw it in the Colorfin library. I love libraries. There won't be any fairy wizards in this one though, right? Fiery wizards. Doubtful. Libraries may be a wizard's natural habitat, but the one thing wizards value more than fire are their precious books. So they're typically a bit more careful in libraries. I sure hope so, especially if it's true that those books fight back. Maybe you should feed the wizards to the books. Oh, no. Not a bad idea, Baya. It's a terrible idea. It's an excellent idea. It's a terrible idea. What he said. If you meet the books, you should tell Myra all about them. She really wanted to see them. Wait. What if I come along? I could ask her and Banshee about the puzzle mechanism thing. And then I could tell them all about the books and eaten wizards. I really hope this library doesn't employ any wizards. Poor Archie. Awesome, you can be my own site for correspondence and witness handler. Yay! This is perfect. We'll talk to your friends and then we'll investigate the library for clues and then we'll find more clues. And solve this fluffing mystery. Sounds like a fun, light adventure. Indeed, but before I go, I am missing 2 key ingredients. A drink and an assistant. With Neil away and Baya already on witness duty, I'll need someone to take notes for me. And to bonus ideas off of it. Bounce ideas off of it. Poor Archie, not being invited. Archie, what are your plans for the day? Ah, well, as you know, I no longer participate in active adventure business, so I must pass on this promising opportunity. Really? But I need a system and you need inspiration for your sequel, right? Right, well, He just doesn't want to be eaten by a book. Melly would be very sad. Inspiration doesn't come from sitting around. Let's go with that one. Get out there, take some notes, live a little. There is a large, very fun space between traumatizing, life-threatening adventures and no adventure at all. I have been struggling with writer's block lately. I'll be your assistant, but I'll keep it strictly to taking notes and a good advice. Maybe a bad advice too, so you don't miss Neil too much. I'll take it. We'll make a great team. As your assistant, may I raise a concern? Worry ahead. Isn't underwater? Indeed, it completely sank during the Twilight Flood and hasn't risen since. The city is a magical bubble. I'm assuming that's supposed to be bubbles? No water inside except its bathtubs. But the bubble is underwater. And we will teleport into the bubble via plants? No, I can't teleport underwater. Too salty. We can swim there. Whee! Is it far down? Not really, like 20 minutes. Yeah, that's a good distance. Right, we can't breathe underwater, Baya. Oh, I forgot. That's fine. What if we find a really long straw that we can breathe through? Or we ask a wizard to turn us into fish? Or maybe... Here, innkeeper, take this. What is this, Baya? Lumen's algae? Okay, I'm assuming an ingredient that will allow them to breathe underwater, perhaps? By the way, I am wearing the shiny, but it's shiny shirt. Overall, it states how many different variations of being a shiny hunter that you can be, and of course the mimic in the back. I would stand up and show you, but tight quarters, and I don't want to readjust and make all kinds of noise. So if you want to check that out, please check out the merch link down in the descriptions. It should be featured on the front page of my merch store. It's Lumen's algae from my swamp. It keeps my guests from drowning in the sensory deprivation ponds. Helps with breathing for those who need it. You can mix that in your drinks, right? I can certainly try. Thank you, Baya. Now you two pick out a drink. I have to go ask Void to watch over my ants while I'm gone. I'll pick you up at blooming time. Alrighty. What is blooming time? Dawn, silly. Anyway, we'll take this magical lumen algae along with your best dexterity drink, innkeeper. That way we can sneak into the library undetected and beyond our investigation without any disturbance. And we'll be quick about it too, so we'll have it solved before anything else bad can happen. Couldn't we just ask them to let us in? No, we have to be stealthy. You spent too much time with Neil. No such thing. Alright, if we're being sneaky, shouldn't we also pack some defense in case any guards or books come after us? Great idea. My dearest assistant, may I also make a alternative suggestion? Just this once. Just kidding, suggestions are your job. What about intelligence to help us solve this mystery properly? But I'm already planning intelligence. Plenty intelligent. Maybe it would give us a new perspective. Especially if this mechanism is ancient, we might need some extra brain power to comprehend it. But then we should add some strength so we can kick the arses of any guards or books we can come across. And also also so we can pick up the mechanism. It might be heavy, and you know, neither of us are exactly regular gym goers. Exactly. I'll keep both options. We need to breathe underwater in Keeper. But should we go with more smart and strength or speed and defense? Please help us. Okay. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's 20 minutes of a swim, so I think dexterity would be way better for them. So let's go with the ocean thieves. So that's dexterity and defense. Right? Or is there something else? Yeah, no, we're gonna go with the new drink, ocean thieves, and this, and all the dexterity, and a little bit more strength with some defense. There we go, ocean fizz. Order up. Breaking into a library and stealing an ancient mechanism. I think Neil would love this sneaking approach. I'll be sending you on this path in his honor. Excuse me. In mine, I used to love breaking into places. You did. You did. I'll tell you about it another time. For now, make your own roguish memories. I'm looking forward to hearing about your adventure. Don't get too wet. Let's go solve this case, Archie. On it, boss. This is gonna be an interesting tale to hear. Hey, buddy. Turn on the spotlight and bring out the peels. Innkeeper, I've returned to your tavern. What an honor, great voyage. You look radiant. Are you here to help with the dishes? No, you look radiant. Oh. Thank you. So do you. Radiant like the sunrise on a warm summer day. Wait, do you like summer days? Oh, dragons, you don't, do you? I like flattery, so don't worry about it. Alright, cool. I miss you, Innkeeper. I miss you too. How was your tour? Incredible. X and Indigo Psychratanic special effects were insane. I've never felt so cool. I have no idea. Dyslexia sucks. And the special performance where a Fable came along were overbooked at every single venue. It was spectacular. But I really could use a break now. So many people, so many autographs and questions. Everyone kept asking me to say my catchphrase. I didn't even know I had a catchphrase. What's my catchphrase? Perhaps be razzle dazzled. Your wink is me, Voyage, the music guy. Your wink? Like this? Yeah, you tend to do that just naturally. That's That's charm the socks off any groupie. And any innkeeper? Wouldn't you like to know? Speaking of classic, can I offer you a classic boy drink? Actually, I'm curious I'm craving something specific today. Do you have any of those honey flowers left? I think they're exactly what I need after weeks and weeks of constant chattering and belting. And maybe you can enhance my sense by adding some classic charisma to the mix. If you don't know what belting is, my wife has been teaching me this. Apparently it's different levels of singing in your voice to project it to your audience. My wife's into singing, but I wouldn't be upset with something else either. Make sure your drink doesn't upset you. One moment. Alrighty. Order. So, charismatic, obviously, and then with the honey flower thing. 1,000 winds or sunny breeze. Let's give him sunny breeze. Of course, throw the infusion in and throw some intelligent in. Right about there, and all the charisma. And there we go. We have a sunny breeze. Order up. Prepare to be enchanted. I know you're magic, but wow, your drinks never cease to amaze me. I'd give this a standing ovation if your seats weren't so comfortable. So how's your break going? It's very relaxing. Decided to visit Gaia at her spa, and it's been every bit as refreshing as I'd hoped it would be. You know, she gave me a bunch of her flowers crowns for my concert, so I could hand them out when I didn't know what to say. We spent last week making hundreds of new ones together. Now I'm babysitting her aunts while she's off to that underwater thing. Also, I brought you some of her coupons. I'll just leave them on the counter, right? Alright? Of course, people loved them last time. I still don't want any of those. Of course, people loved them. Sure, they sure did. No, we could count on you. Are you going to stay a while? No, I need to get back to the ants. Just wanted to drop off the coupons and check in on you. Judging by how long it took me to get here, I shouldn't stay for too long. Did you get lost? Majorly. I'm not sure what's up, but the weather's been really weird. Like there's this growing layer of fizziness that makes it really hard to see. Things do feel a little fuzzy, right? The wind's picking up too. It was so loud I could hardly think on my way over. Even the compass Scully got me. It went totally haywire when I tried to get back on track. That's weird. So I had to rely on asking people for directions, which worked, but you're exhausted. So exhausted. But I'd go through any storm to get to you, innkeeper. And I'd shelter you from any storm too, boy. I'd better head out before you make my heart melt. Hang on tight to those coupons. You got it. Okay, I have to admit, Voy is kind of attractive. Alright. I guess it's the charismatic part of him. But with that, we feed adieu, clean up the tavern, and blow out the candle. But, as I have told you before, we will be continuing. Night at the library. Okay, so we're coming back after a day or two. It's looking pretty stormy out there, Rooney. That's this little guy over here. Can we pet him? No, we can't. I should make sure to keep the windows closed. Hello, buddy. Good morning, Oleander. I think I said it right this time. Morning. What's going on out there? Great question. Are you going to answer it? Storm's pretty bad. Right, and... Oleander, you still with me? Sorry, long night and a bad headache. Could I maybe get a coffee? Dude, I love this guy already. He's ordered coffee twice since we met him. I don't think more coffee is what you need. Excuse me. How about something for the headache of yours? Maybe a texture to soothe your mind a bit? Sure, I'll take that. But coffee solves everything. Coffee solves everything. Now let's give him Silent Owl. Alright, let's see here. We don't need a charismatic in it or anything. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and give him this one. So that will boost it almost all the way to the top for intelligence. And now we just need a little bit of dexterity. And a little bit of some strength. And there we have a Silent Owl. Order up. The gentlest cure for headaches I have to offer. Thanks, I feel soothed. Want to try telling me about the storm again? Fine, I guess I owe it to you. Quite frankly, it's a nightmare. The storm is causing an alarming number of people to get lost. On one side, you have adventurers who think now it's a great time to look for a treasure or personal fulfillment. Some of them even want to fight the storm, which is a level of stupidity I previously thought impossible. On the other side, a whole lot of regular good people are in trouble too. They're wandering off the path deep into the Ashen Grove, unable to find their way out again. Compasses don't work at all anymore, and most people's sense of direction seems akin to that of a stale bread. In summary, it's a mess. I recommend staying inside. Don't have to tell me twice. But that doesn't sound quite strange. Strange is one word for it. Bothersome is another. What kind of storm do you think it is? No idea. It's like something I've never seen before. Got any guesses yourself? I feel somewhat primordial, but maybe that's just the nature of strange storms in general. I certainly haven't gotten any divine visions from the Great Sea Serpent. Granted, it's been very quiet on the forefront ever since I retired. Primordial, huh? Figures. That explains the frogs. Sorry, the frogs? The frogs in the tree house. frogs in the what now? Sorry, I should have clarified. I'm talking about the adventurers who turned into frogs. What? Good for them. I'm still lost. Blame the storm. I think I'd rather blame your lack of explanation. Fine. Some adventurers got tangled up in some strangling scrubs. I cut them out of there and agreed to lead them out of the grove. There were 4 of them, each more reckless than the last. It was a hassle leading them back, especially with all of those aberrating hunting the storm. Aberrations haunting the storm. Not to mention that the adventurers themselves seemed to lack any sense of perception whatsoever. They almost fell into the ravine pit. Ravenous pit. Is that what turned them into frogs? No. What sort of ravine pit turned people into frogs? Ravenous pit. When we were passing the boundaries of the ancient forest, we ran into more of those aberrations. When we defeated them, they just turned into thick and surprisingly aggressive fog. And the fog attempted to engulf us entirely. I managed to fight it off, but the adventurers weren't so lucky. It went into their leader's eyes, which then turned a stormy purple, before she suddenly melted into water and got consumed by the storm. I lost sight of the rest as other aberrations started appearing, and when I found them again later, they had turned into 3 frogs. That's fascinating side effect. What did you do with the frog adventurers? I picked them up and brought them to Fable's treehouse. Made them a little water bath in the kitchen and locked them in there for now. That way they can't cause any trouble and the windows keep the fog out well enough. Did you leave them some snacks? Of course. Excellent. So what are you going to do to get rid of the storm? Nothing. Do I look like an adventurer to you? Kind of, just less frog. Like, we've still got plenty of bipedal heroes left. I'm sure one of them will take care of it eventually. No need to let it ruin my routine. I fear you might be underreacting. There are no falling stars this time. Things could be worse. They're still the primordial stars. They could float up. Let's keep it to one calamity at a time this run, Innkeeper. Anyway, I should check on those frogs and make sure no one else got lost. Maybe you'll let the people of Zenith know this to stay inside. I'd inform the town crier if I can find one. Stay inside, Innkeeper. Only because you asked so nicely. Whoa, what the hell? What's going on outside? Weird fog? Like he was explaining? Hi, Innkeeper. The brave adventurers and their assistants, author, have returned. Accompanying brave adventurers qualifies you as an adventurer as well. Yes, you're a valuable part of the team, Archie. Imagine what would have happened if you hadn't read so many geographic books. we would have gotten even more lost for sure. Those are general stables. General stables? Very informative page turners. But even so, finding our way back here was nearly impossible. I'm glad you all made it. Did you find the second piece of Mella's puzzle? Yes, we certainly did. And the puzzle is very hard. Even for me, the great detective. All my studies of the ancient mysteries haven't been helping either. But we still managed to find some clues we can chase after. Sounds like it'll be a long story then. Is someone in dire need of a drink before we begin? Me. I got you. What can I make for you today? Yeah. Something fun. So I can tell you all about our adventure better. I think I know what to do. Okay, so what? Charismatic? Yes, sir. Charismatic it is. Sunny Breeze. A little bit more intelligence. And a little bit of dexterity. No, what are you? Oh yeah, it's a minus. A little bit more. There we go. And oh, the careers. Hey, charismatic. Charisma. Order up. Okay, a fun little drink for the cutest little swamp witch. Tee. Oh, she loves it. I do. But now it's time to tell our story. Very well. Strengthened by your drinks, we headed south through the moon swamps towards Mosbury until we could finally spot the sea. There was no city in sight, but we knew underwater wasn't far. Right as we left the swamp and our feet touched the water, the lumen algae did its magic. It formed enormous air bubbles around our heads. I was a bit skeptical at first. I've read about shipwrecks and countless drowned victims after all. I thought it was gonna give them like gills like gillyweed in Harry Potter. Huh, okay. But I pulled myself together. To write about life, one must experience it. So I dove into the water at first, and what can I say? My head stayed completely dry. What fantastic magic, really. It looked a bit silly. The bubble adjusted to the size of his hat, not to his head. That would be a little funny to see. Just the tip of his feather got a bit wet. Meanwhile, Mellie's bubble was big enough to fit her whole body inside. Because her legs didn't reach outside of the bubble, she couldn't swim on her own. Poor Mellie. But Baya managed to pull her along with ease. So just like underwater did a little over a year ago, we slowly descended. While we were swimming, an unknown world came into view. Fish of all shapes, colors, and sizes, swarm of glowing isopods and large monstrous creatures in the distance. The creatures didn't scare you? No, not at all. The drinks you prepared made us swim incredibly fast. None of those monsters could even get close to us. But then, we could finally see the gates of underwater. It was like a dream. No. Even in my wildest dreams, I couldn't have imagined the beauty of that sunken city. The Treverton travertine walls and marble pillars, the gentle, magical light that illuminated the city and the dark ocean around it. The myriads of colorful, sometimes even glowing sea creatures attracted by the light. It's so much more beautiful than any description I'd read. What a wondrous place. And it's a huge magic bubble, and there I thought my bubble was big. I'm so glad I decided to go with you on such a wonderful adventure. Where else would I have found the right words and inspiration for my next story? We entered the city through a huge special magical seal that keeps the city dry. Melly was the only one of us with dry clothes though. And it was so very excited. I was so very excited to see the Banshee and the Myra Morgan. We quickly met up with them at the inn they were staying at to ask them about the exact location of the mechanism. I showed them my cool puzzle piece, and the Myra Morgan said it definitely looked like the one she saw in the library. I was so excited. I was so close to solving the puzzle. They told us the way to the Tavern library, and then we were ready to go. They didn't come with us. No, they didn't come with you. Apparently they had made reservation for dinner and dancing that night, and we didn't want to interfere with their plans. It was their vacation after all, but we promised to update them later. After another short walk, we finally reached our destination, the Tavern library. Of course, we arrived there after opening hours, as was the plan, which means it was close, but we had to get in somehow. Did you try to bribe the staff? So you got that break in you wanted. Wait a second. Exactly. I can't wait to tell Neil all about our ingenious heist. There was an open window. Hee. My first ever burglary. Maya is so cute when it comes to these. What was your first one? You handled it so well. I thought you were a professional. The window was on the second floor, far out of anyone's reach, or so I thought. Before I could ask for a grappling hook, Molly was already sitting on the window sill. I felt a few cold strains of kelp wrap around me, and well, the next thing I remember is lying on the dark wooden floor of the library with a horrible headache. It was difficult to estimate the correct height when throwing him. You threw him? I thought you just lifted him and dropped him. Oh, wow. All that matters is we got in without any major problems. After we made it inside, it was time to find the second piece of the mechanism. Have you ever visited the Tavern library, innkeeper? Not yet, unfortunately, but it's been some time. Yes, but it's been, not yet. Oh, you really have to. Just the building alone is worth it, let alone all the recipes you could find in there. I'll think about it. The light polished marble and organic wood made for such a perfect combination. All those arches and tall bookshelves that toured above us were above us mere mortals. And the highlight of the whole structure was the sun dome. The sun dome? The center of the part of the library, it's covered by a gigantic glass dome that fills every nook and cranny with warm sunlight. Excuse me. Well, at least until the sun set, which looked amazing. It was really cool, but it also made me feel very small. The place was so enlightened. It didn't want elegant. I didn't want to leave even a trickle of seawater behind. So I quickly got out of my cape and gloves and stored them in a nook next to our entry point. And then I began exploring. I found a new article about the recent renovated ceiling. Seems like the impressive glass dome is a rather new addition to the library. They added it for better lighting and to grant people a glimpse at the world beyond the waves. I found it a bit strange that the renovations seemed to have finished just before the first report of the aligned book haunting. Renovation schemativation. I was focused on finding the second puzzle piece. Vaya and I looked everywhere, but it was nowhere to be found. We followed the Myra Morgan direction to a T and even found the dump below where it was supposed to be displayed. But no mechanism was in sight. I went back upstairs to see if I could find any documentations on where they might have stored it. So, my guess is someone stole it already. Unfortunately, wow, I can't talk. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information on their filing system. Instead, I found something far more interesting. An antique book that had collected quite a bit of dust on its spine. It contained stories about the creation of our planes, the dragons, and the mythical creatures they created. Such as spirits? Exactly. I found the description of the certain spirits called the Tempest. The title of the DLC. So, the Tempest is the spirit that Melly accidentally let loose, I'm assuming. A powerful fire spirit created by a Leviathan that reminded me of the one Melly freed. Yep, called it. It's associated with willfire, passion, affection, somehow, and listen to this, storms. Wow, that's a lot of different things. The book contains a dramatic short story about massive storms in the primordial sea that the Tempest summoned when upset. Do you think the storm outside could be caused by an upset Tempest? Bingo. Why is it upset? I didn't do anything. Except set it free. Did it not want to be free? Did the book say anything about the mysterious mechanism, Archie? Well, I couldn't quite finish reading it. While I was leafing through it, I got distracted by a particular wet trail on the floor. And sure, it could have been from Baya or even me. But then I realized that the trail had led to where I had left my cape and gloves. Driven by curiosity, I decided to follow it. When I arrived, there was only one single glove left on the floor. The curse of the library? It was so odd. Did my clothes come to life all of a sudden, or did someone take them? We were supposed to be alone, after all. At least, so we thought. At first I thought I was imagining things. You know, maybe being underwater isn't so good for your psyche. But then I heard it as well. A soft rustling sound I've heard many times before. It was the sound of pages turning, books being opened and closed, as if the library was full of people reading. And then I felt something nibble on my boots. I looked down, and at first I thought I had just stepped on a book that had fallen off the shelf while we were rummaging around. Then I saw teeth and a tongue. And the book was alive. It was eating my shoes. A mimic, I'm assuming. Maybe. She screamed so loud it was a miracle none of the guards heard. It was a miracle. But I knew exactly what we were dealing with. They were creatures I'd read about numerous times before. Every fictional adventure runs into them at least once every few books. Mimics. I called it. I didn't think I'd ever seen anyone proclaim that word so happily before. Well, it was my first time actually seeing one in the wild, though I would have expected them to look more like treasure chests or doors. Suddenly the whole floor was swarming with books. Books with dozens of long, pointy teeth. Books that wanted to eat me alive. Forgotten were our plans to find the mechanism. We had to defend ourselves first. I read enough about mimics to know exactly what to do in such a situation. I drew my rapier to defend us, but well, my weapons wasn't really needed. The drinks made us so fast these evil books couldn't even get near us. They stood no chance against my witchcraft. Whips made out of kelp were snapping the mimics apart like twigs. Snapping. Good thing they weren't actually books. That would have been a horrible sight to behold. Yeah, I can agree. As I was taking notes on my friend's heroics, I heard a particular wet sound coming from across the room. I stumbled towards it, nearly slipped on the numerous pages scattered on the ground. And lo and behold, there were my missing clothes. A poor mimic had tried to swallow them, but ended up spitting them out. Maybe they tasted like old books. Or wet socks. Hey. Those books were so hungry they were trying to eat everything in their path. So naturally I started hunting for the book that must have eaten my puzzle piece. I was sure it had to be somewhere around all those angry pages. And guess what? I spotted it. The mechanism was inside what looked to be a tome of ancient arts and crafts. I yelled out for Baya to restrain the book, then I leapt forward and snatched the mechanism right out of the creature's mouth. It was covered in mimic goo, but I could still see the citron underneath. Obviously we didn't have time to investigate it right then and there. So I yelled, "Come on, let's get out of here," and quickly jumped out of the window. I picked Archie up by the waist and slithered down the outside wall. I could still hear the mimics wrestling around inside, but none of them chased after us. We made it out. I survived my second adventure. I mean, the adventure wasn't over just yet. We still had to get back to the surface. We snuck far away from the library until it felt safe enough for us to simply blend in with underwater's evening crowds. Afterwards, Baya bought a postcard to update the Meyer Morgan as well as a souvenir for who was was it again? Fable's brother? Yes, I got Oleander. Yeah, Oleander, some coral sprigs. That's quite lovely. Indeed. Anyway, after that, we made it back to the barriers seal, and then back into the sea. As soon as we stepped outside, the magic bubble returned to us. We made it back to the surface with no issues. Well, there was one issue. I don't know how, but maybe it was the strange storm, but we accidentally swam south instead of north. I was really confused. I didn't understand where my swamp had gone, or what we were standing in the middle of some mud flats. It was clear we were suddenly by the Waiting Sea, but it was already so late, and we were all pretty exhausted. So we decided to stay at night at a tavern in Brockham. We found Un's favorite tavern. Don't you mean her second favorite? That's one of my favorites too. Don't you mean her second favorite? Huh? I'm pretty sure she said favorite. Really, Un? Okay. She's just afraid of vulnerability. Speaking of taverns, innkeep, could I order a drink now, please? The dramatic tale made me thirsty. Of course. You already have a drink in mind? Yes, I would like to order a hot chocolate. One hot chocolate coming right up? Oh wait, I could like an extra fancy hot chocolate, like with glitter or marshmallows on top. Sadly, I'm fresh out of marshmallows. Oh. But I could substitute them for some gooseberries. They pop in your mouth when biting into and add a fun twist to your drink. Ooh. Yes, I'd love some of those. Very well. Speaking of hot chocolate, it is actually getting cold enough for us to actually enjoy hot chocolate. I have not drank a hot chocolate just yet, but I definitely will. Probably tomorrow. The gooseberries, right? I believe that's what he said, right? Yeah, pretty sure. A little bit of defense. A little bit of charisma. And all of the dexterity. Will it make it? No, it will not. Because of the damn gooseberry. Okay. What? I'm confused. Yeah, I'm really confused. Because she requested the gooseberries, but it's not allowing us to actually get there. Okay. So do I treat it as something else then? I'm assuming. Or is this the berries? Hold up. Let's look at the actual ingredients, shall we? Yeah, no, this is gooseberries. So I'm not understanding why that's not working. Gooseberry. Dexterity. All the way to the top. And then that does not leave a whole lot. No, that does not need to be increased. Charisma doesn't need to be increased. Is that why I messed up? I'm such a freaking dork. Order up. I messed up what we were supposed to put in it because I went overboard. How's your hot chocolate? I love it. It's sweet and warm and perfect. Anyway, please continue. You arrived at the tavern? Exactly. I have that words. Exactly. Finally, we could dry our clothes and examine the complete puzzle. Well, we couldn't quite figure out how to fit the piece together, but we had both parts. Well, the second was larger than the first and had weird round layers made entirely out of citron. And someone had scratched something into it. Not sure what though, but there was a lot of scratches. There was also this indention. Ah, exactly that. Like, it looked like the two pieces would just snap into place, but no matter how we turned the second one, it never fit. One protruding arm of citron was always in the way. There was also a second indention whose purpose we couldn't figure out either. So, what did you figure out? So nothing. Well, I just want to say it was pretty tough puzzle. And we had a long day. And also the lighting in the tavern was exactly bad. Was excellently bad. You didn't figure anything out, did you? Nope. We worked so hard to get the second piece, but it seemed like something was still missing. And I really wanted to fix what I had messed up. So the tavern might not have had the best amenities. What it did have, though, was particular guests who overheard our frustrating sighing. Turned out he was a researcher who also got lost because of the strange storm. He was on his way to Zephyr and ended up in Brookham just like us. And he was very friendly. He told us he got attacked by an angry fire spirit on his way out of the Forbidden Valley. And the spirit description sounded eerily familiar. He got away and tried to make it back home. Apparently he just finished his research assessment on the eating habits of giant toads in the Forbidden Valley. But he lost some of his notes running from the spirit. Which got me thinking, if we can't figure out the puzzle, we just have to figure out the spirits instead. Hooray! I decided we'll follow it to the Forbidden Valley. The researcher gladly gave us direction on how to get to the research outpost. Not that they're very useful with the storm going on right now. So there's your next destination, the Forbidden Valley. Yes. I've heard it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place. The researcher said the same thing. He said there's a huge poisonous lake you need to pass by to even get in. That lake sounds like a beautiful place. Yeah, beautiful and not at all bad if you fall in. It sounds so not scary and safe and normal. Melly, are you sure you want to go there? Yes. No. But I want to solve this riddle and fix the mess I made. You know, it's okay to take a step back from time to time. But I'm Fieso's greatest detective. Fieso's greatest detective. But words don't want to be a coward. You're not a coward. You're responsible. If you don't think you can handle this, it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes that's the smartest thing to do. Exactly. There is nothing wrong with not being able to do everything yourself. It would be a very lonely world if there was. I'll go collect clues in the valley for you, Melly, and I'll bring the puzzle back safely to your paws, like the best assistant. Okay, thank you. To be honest, I'm kind of relieved. I was really scared there for a moment. And I trust you to solve this case for me. Very well then, I will write up a quest for this post. Haste. Wonderful. But we might need a few more brave adventures for this journey. I'll start asking around. But before I leave, after all of that talking, I'm in dire need of a drink, dear innkeeper. Of course, anything specific in mind? Maybe something that'll steal my vocal cords for recruiting more assistants to protect me from a sore throat tomorrow. Leave it to me. So, some charisma. No? Oh, okay. Defense. I sound so defeated by that concept. Let's go with first snow. And we will put in not that one. Not that one. Not that one. We'll put this one in. All the defense. And a little bit more dexterity. And a little bit of charisma. Order up for snow. Liquid steel, just for you. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I needed. I can already feel the itching in my throat subsiding. Melly, do you want help? Yeah, Melly, do you want to help us choose the right people for the quest? You can absolutely come and help us ask around. Oh yes, I would love to. Excuse me. Good luck, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Alright. Set up this quest. A angry fire spirit, presumably the Tempest, was last seen near the Forbidden Valley, wreaking havoc and scaring off researchers. The wind and weather pattern seemed to be changing. Visibility is dropping and compasses are starting to fail. Nothing to worry about, surely. Right. Melly's mysterious puzzle piece seems to have something to do with the dangerous dragons themselves, as does the angry fire spirit she freed. No biggie. A tempest is announced. The mechanism, as well as the spirit that inhabited it, is rooted in the realm of the great dragons. The tempest storm is wreaking havoc and causing confusion all across ESO. As people get lost or turn into frogs, someone needs to put an end to this and track the tempest down. It was last seen in the Forbidden Valley, where it may be getting up for forbidden shenanigans. What can possibly stop this force of nature? That is the question, isn't it? And with that, we feed our due, clean up the tavern, and blow out the candles for our next day. And a very, very stormy, misty day. Alright. This took a turn. This is what, chapter 4? A guide to heroism. Hey, buddy. Morning. Good morning. You look tired. Good? Tired. To be honest, I'm not. Your eyeballs have eye bags. It was a long night. Storm still? Storming? Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to put it. I spent all night rescuing people from wandering into the Twig Mangrove. The Wyvern Chimera really doesn't like intruders. The 4 frog ventures keep trying to break out of the tree house too. I barely even had time to look after Fable's vegetables garden. Do you think they're okay? Do you think the storm has reached Valets too? Are they equipped to handle it? What if they stumble into the Twilight Chasm again? I'm sure Fable is alright. Fable has faced much worse. I'm a bit worried about them too. Fable has faced way worse than this. After everything they've been through, I doubt this storm possesses much of a threat to them. That does nothing to calm me down. I have faith in them. They trust you to take care of the grove. Maybe return the favor. I'll try. So now you're here to take a break. Do you need a room so no one sees you resting? No, just need to sit for 2 minutes in silence is all. And I'll be good as new. Got it. Yeah. You're not gonna get silence with Boy being here. I was told there's a quest waiting for me. I confirmed my quest board has one waiting for a brave adventurer like yourself. Perfect. Now we can tick that one off to-do list. The to-do list. Only actually doing the whole quest left. I take it you've been recruited? Faya and Archie asked me to join in, yeah. And I can't say no to such a beautiful companions. Faya told him he's coming and that was that. How could I refuse when my best friend wants to spend time with me? With Melly making the responsible decision of sitting this one out, we really needed a fearless leader for the quest, so of course we'd ask Boy. Fearless? Leader? I thought it was coming along for support. You know, play a cool musical number while you guys do some kick-ass moves. Every adventure needs a leader, and you have the most charismatic out of all of us. I mean, I guess I could try to lead. Boy, the fearless leader, I can see it now. Maybe you can lead as a team. Yeah. Multiple heads is better than one. Teamwork is at the heart of adventuring after all. You can support each other and all shine together. That sounds like a lot less terrifying, thank you. I suppose we could try that. I do have a question though. Archie, are you sure you want to go? Collecting inspiration for your book is all well and good, but the Forbidden Valley is one of the most dangerous places on Gaia. Didn't you want to stay away from quests like this? Aya said the same thing. She's worried sick for him. I suppose that's fair. This quest has the potential to be quite dangerous. I don't fancy myself much of a daredevil anymore, but the Forbidden Valley was one of the Theo's biggest interests. He knew particularly everything there is to know about it. So naturally, I absorbed a lot through him. Read more into it too after everything happened as a way to remember him. Though I have quite a bit of knowledge about everything the researchers have discovered so far. Like pointless dead man's lake or the sleep crystal of giant saber-toothed tigers. I don't know how much I can help with navigation considering the current state of things. But at least I'll know what a wondrous the Dione Musculpel looks like if we run into one. I am uniquely equipped to aid in this quest. And while I decide to step back from full-time adventuring, that does not mean I will stand idle by as chaos unfurls in front of me. Not if I'm able to help. I see, you learn from my mistakes. We both did, it seems. The lost spirit worries me too. I remember feeling lost and I don't wish that on anyone. We don't know if it's actually lost per se. We shall find out how to help it, or at the very least, figure out how to keep it from causing more chaos. That sounds very brave of you, Archie. I couldn't agree more. Sounds almost like a leader to me. I'll happily be your right-hand man. Alright. And if all else fails, Baya will be by our side. They'll be able to guide us to and through the Forbidden Valley in no time. About that, I'm not so sure she actually can. Baya got pretty lost on her way back to the moon swamp, remember? Plants are all confused and fuzzy because of the cursed storm, and she still can't teleport to the Forbidden Valley. And I'm definitely not feeling another risky teleportation spell. I guess we'll just have to use our collective brain power to find our way then, especially through the valley. The very dangerous valley. Maybe we can pray to the dragons for help. I feel like we might need a bit more than just a prayer. Could you become a cleric? I could. Wait. You're Ollivander, Virfin, right? Babel's brother. Yep, they're gonna drag him in. I knew it. Me? Yes. I sure am. Aya told me about you. She got you some coral sprigs from underwater. That's nice. She said you're an expert ranger, but people really rely on you to guide them through the Ashen Grove. That's very kind of her and correct. Spectacular, so you can help us. What? Well, we're in desperate need of an expert guide, and you happen to be one. It's a perfect match. It's a perfect match. It would be if I was interested, which I'm not. I'm sure you can find another guide. But you're right here. Maybe a nicer one as well? But you're right here. That doesn't count as qualification. But your experience does. Don't leave us hanging. We might get eaten by a wandering Dynagus muscle thing. Wandering I can't even say it, dude. You're a muted Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap. Ah, so you were eavesdropping on us then. Aren't you fascinated by the valley? Fascinated maybe, but it's far away and far too hostile to mortal kind. The fascination should never make you reckless. Imagine the unique flora and fauna we could encounter. Fauna. And imagine all the people you would help with this. Imagine all the people I would abandon. Your sisters can take over some of your duties, I'm sure. And what if something happens to them? And what if something happens to them or someone else because you sat here and did nothing? With your help, we'll solve this so fast they won't even notice you're gone. And we're very pleasant traveling companions. Archie can info dump about all the weird creatures on the way there. Fine, alright. Really? Thank you so much. You've lifted at least 60 million pounds off my heart. Now all we need is a delicious drink from you, dear innkeeper. I'd never refuse that request. What can I get you? We could certainly use a hefty serving of defense. The Forbidden Valley is deadly. We need to be hardened against anything. Excuse me. I'd also recommend some strength in case we could come across hostile creatures we can't avoid. I certainly hope we won't. Don't worry, Archie. We'll protect you. As should the drink. When we encounter the spirit, we should also be resistant at least some of its magic. I imagine you still have something for fire resistance? Of course I do. Perfect. Let's go with that then. Wait a minute. We don't have to go all survivalist here. Don't we want to survive? Sure. We also want to have some fun, right? And be like smart and stuff. That certainly seems like a lost cause. And I think we should figure out what's up with the spirit. Archie, since Millie gave you the mechanism, maybe we can show it to the Tempest and ask what it's all about. If it's not very chatty, there's an outpost full of research out there. They're all bound to have some smart people ideas. As for the monster, we can just stack up on dexterity, sneak around them, run away, and know the classics. And we'll top it all off with some smooth inspiration, my favorite. That'll give us a leg up on whatever we decide to do. That sounds incredibly negligent. Negligent. And you're sounding unnecessarily violent. I can see the appeal of both, Innkeeper. I trust your intuition. Defense, strength, and fire resistance to stand a chance in a fight. Or charismatic, dexterity, inspiration, so we can try to figure out what's going on. Let's see what my intuition has in store for you. Considering that I have no idea how to deal with it, I think intelligence and charismatic would be the better choice. Granted, it is a dangerous place, so either or could work, but they need to know what they're up against, so let's go with the intelligence and charismatic version. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we need charisma and dex. Charisma. Yeah, charisma. That's which one is this? It's not a whole lot of dex. Is it just a little bit of dex? Yeah, I guess it's just a little bit of dex. Alright, let's go with 1,000 wins. Infusion, that one. And a good amount of charisma and some defense. There we go, 1,000 wins, order up. I'm hoping I made the right choice on this. Good communication never hurts. Worst case, you can try and recruit some extra hands to help you fight a powerful foe. Best case, no violence will be necessary. Very reckless. Very fun. A very good idea, I think. Don't worry, Oleander. We maxed out our stealth skills. I highly doubt that. But I'll make sure you follow the correct path. What happens aside from that is none of my concern, I suppose. Thank you for your help. You're off. We're off to pick up Baya then. Look forward to our charismatic tale. Why did I say yes to this? It'll be fun, I promise. Let's stay positive. Lead the way, Archibald. Archibald. I think you probably should. Right. See you soon, Innkeeper. Hopefully with the tales of friendship. Again, I hope I made the right decision. With that, we feed Adu, clean up the tavern, and blow out the candles. And then we open up again. Oh, look at that! The storm is gone. The eye of the storm. I believe this is chapter 5. Would you look at that? The weather's cleared up. Does that mean they were successful? Hopefully no one turned into a frog. Hello, Baya. Please make room for the great voyage. Applause. Applause. Ta-da! It is I, your favorite voyage, here to take you on a journey. I'm the greatest leader of... We forgot to come up with a group name. The Bog Bodies. The Bog Bodies! Welcome back. Where's the rest of your fabulous troop? Outside? They got distracted by the flowers outside. Lovely, I don't have any flowers to offer you, but how about a drink? No, thank you. I'm going to let Melly know all about our cases. You're a wonderful assistant, Baya. Thank you. I'll send the little birdie inside. So they get along now? Splendidly. They didn't stop talking the whole way back. Innkeeper, your forget-me-nots are looking gorgeous. Thank you, Archie. As do you too. Are you trying to tram a story out of us? Yes. Well, it's working. Prepare for our wonderful tale about saving Estria from the Tempest Wrath. Before that, can I offer anyone a drink? Please, I've been craving one the whole way back. Perhaps something with a fang of a colossal saber-toothed tiger. We saw one on the way through the Forbidden Valley, and it was breathtaking. On it. So he wants infusion of this, yeah? Alright. Oh, so anything with that infusion? Alright. That infuses with strength and dex. So let's go ahead and do precisely that. So a little bit of strength and all of dexterity with a little bit of defense. Order up, Ocean Fizz. I hope this will make you feel as brave as Saber-Tooth Tiger. Oh my, it does indeed, absolutely delectable as usual, Innkeeper. I'll take that tail now. Of course, first Oleander got us to the Forbidden Valley with remarkable haste. It was difficult to navigate through the storm, but my traveling companions weren't all that bad. We were faster than I thought we would be. Making it through the gravel mac as difficult, but it was nothing compared to Poisonous Dead Man's Lake. Did you know there's creatures inside of it? No, and I would have been fine not knowing. I have a few encounters with them. So let's go to the top one because I had no idea. As if you're nasty. You're noisy. True. They tried to drag us into the lake and we dropped the mechanism. It almost fell into the corrosive waters. Cursive waters? But Baya caught it just in time. And then Voy had an idea. He saw abjuration appearing in the fog not too far from us, and he ran towards them. We followed him, of course, and as did the lake creatures. The abjuration latched onto them, and while our foes were busy fighting, we escaped. It was pretty smart. Thank you. It was super close call, but my heart is racing all over again. Could I maybe have a drink to help me calm down? How about one of those 1,000 ones, since we stopped a storm and all? Perfect on theme. 1 second. Alrighty. A showers and no winds. Alright, we need charisma and dex and defense, so let's do that. Oh, the charisma. And a little bit more defense. There we go. 1,000 wins. Order up. A 1,000 wins tame just for you. This tastes awesome. I feel like I'm starting floating any minute. I'll start floating at any minute. Anyhow, Lily led us deeper into the valley, which was fascinating. Lily? Oleander. Obviously. Maybe we should write down what we saw in the valley. Like in a box? In a book? Well, you're right. Well, you write those, right? And they're pretty good. So maybe you could make something like a guide. I'd love that. We should definitely do that. We were brainstorming what to do next while hiding from one of those frolicking fly traps things, when Archie suggested asking researchers for help. I thought perhaps they could point us in the spirit's direction. The Forbidden Valley is quite large after all. Finding the settlement itself was difficult, so Roy told us to put our heads together. Masterfully, of course. Archie told me about the muted elderberry bushes and researchers had said he planted near the outpost. So I found a many-eyed squirrel, and Baya convinced it to lead us to the bushes. Worked like a charm. The researchers were happy to see us once they stopped thinking we were stormy aberrations. They're a strange bunch of people, but they're also very kind. When we told them about our problem, they were fascinated. So I asked them if they wanted to take a look at the mechanism. And then I sang them tunes to get them in the right headspace for some smart people things. A dramatic ballad about the Tempest's heart. It was delightful. Annoying and creative was what I was going for, but sure. With a little bit of inspiration, they were able to figure out what it was. A zoetrope? It's some sort of spinning picture thing. Archie happened to know all about the zootopes. The researchers thought that it was the spirit's home, as it was a certain part of how the mechanism would have functioned. Which it destroyed the spirit was trapped inside, but at least it still had shelter. Now it had neither a home nor an enchantment nor purpose. That sounds quite terrifying. So I thought, what if we built a new home? Something fun so it doesn't have to be bored and lonely. We started brainstorming ideas since we didn't know we had to fix the Since we didn't think we could fix the zootope. The divine design would have been difficult to replicate. One researcher even thought it could have been made by a dragon themselves. We were a bit overwhelmed trying to live up to that, but then Lily had an idea. I suggested we build it a lantern. Lanterns are very useful for guiding people. It would get to see a lot of Forbidden Valley, all while regaining a purpose and a way to spend time with others. It was a genius idea. Thank you, Archie. Obviously, we didn't know if the Tempest would like it. So while the researchers got to work building a lantern using the center of the zootope as a home for the flame, we sought out the spirit. Though they were pretty sure it was terrorizing the wildlife of nearby Toad Thicket. So your plan was to pitch the new contemplation. We decided on no plan, just vibes and improvisation. You decided that. Improvisation. Words are difficult. You can't argue with the effectiveness of that decision. I could, but I'm choosing not to. We found the Tempest stuck in one of the forbidden traps of a seal's moose. Of a sleet moose? I was going to walk up to it and use the opportunity to pitch our proposal, but then I saw Lily eyeing the trap. I asked him if he had wanted to help, and he said, yes. I felt sorry for it, being stuck in that trap and on our plane, I guess. So I asked Bai if she could fortify my arrow with thorns. Then I stepped forward and shot an arrow at the trap. It hit a weak spot and it splintered, freeing the Tempest. Immediately it ran forward, but stopped right in front of me, staring me straight in the eye. I looked back calmly in the tongue of the primordial sea. I said, "We're building you a new home. Would you like to see it?" I was a bit confused by the suggestion, so I crouched down and drew a lantern outlined in the dirt while explaining our idea in detail. I proposed we could start with a trial period, see how it liked spending time with the researchers. And I promised if it didn't like it there, I would personally bring it back to the primordial sea. It was so scared it could just be forgotten about and lost again. But I assured it that my friends, my traveling companions, would never let that happen, and it believed me. So back at the camp, we offered it the finished lantern. The gift made it dance in excitement. I had taught it a happy dance on the way back, which a rambling sound of Tempest entered the mechanism, and as it did, the raging storm around us was absorbed as well. Raging. Bit by bit, the hooded lantern absorbed the storm until it was all gone. Inside the mechanism was a purple flame, still dancing happily. Then we properly introduced the spirit to the researchers. They all pitched their research projects, trying to see which one it would like to delve into the most. It was really interesting in primordial spores. I should try adding some of those to a drink. That's exactly why we didn't bring any back. We all spent the night celebrating together before embarking on our journey home. What an eventful quest. And great persuasion work, Oleander. Can I offer you a drink on the house as a thank you? Aren't all your drinks on the house? You wish. Ominous. But yes, please. Maybe something from my brain? Excuse me. Another headache? No, I'd like to understand the build of the lantern better in case I ever run into a lost spirit again. How adventurous of you. Alrighty. So, Big Brother is now intrigued on doing adventuring quests. Awesome. Alright, yeah, let's just make him a silent owl. It's easier. Alrighty, and we need all the intelligence, some dexterity, and all the strength we can muster. That's the wrong one. Okay, since we can't get that because we messed it up. Okay, that's there. We need more intelligence. A little bit more. There we go. Silent owl, order up. Here, I hope all of this will brighten your day like a magical lantern. Your drinks are far too good to be free. You know that, right? Is that a compliment? No, it's a compliment. It's a compliment, thanks. So now you're all good to take a nap? Nah, we're helping Archie with his travel plans. Travel plans? I'd like to see more of Astria. to meet interesting people and creatures and hear all about their stories. The researchers actually offered to let me stay for a bit, so I might go back. I can't wait to travel the world and write about all the brave people I encounter. Not alone, of course. Solo trips aren't really for me. You should take Oleander along. I could write down some travel recommendations. You should take Oleander along. I love that. I wouldn't mind either, I guess. Yeah, you like adventuring, dude. As long as we're not gone for too long. The Grove and all. Of course, we'll start small. How do you feel about Boris? Excited, to be honest. Excellent. Sounds like there are a lot more adventuring waiting for you. Aren't there always? Life's just never-ending chain of adventures. And we can't wait to tell you about all of them. But for now, how about we go check on those frog adventurers in Fable's treehouse? Good idea. Can we bring them by the tavern afterwards? Anytime. I'll get a drink ready for them. So what, are they frog humanoids? And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Tavern Talk: The Tempest. So, I don't know if they're going to do the whole changing scene. Well, the weather changed. I don't know about them actually coming back with the frog people. So, if it does do that, I'm gonna keep going, see what happens. But if nothing happens, if you enjoy indie games, amazing stories, horror games, and darker stories as well, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification for future videos. Peace out, guys, if I don't see you.